Circling is a non-therapeutic, non-coaching group relational modality that's often described as a group meditation on the present moment. It is formed out of Gestalt therapy, and even though it can be facilitated by therapists or coaches, it's really experiential and something that defies sort of those modalities and their expectations. The reason why we incorporate circling into our practice is because it works out that muscle of being with what is. And that's really comes from three parts: observation, inspection, and expression. So observation is noticing inwards. What are we feeling in the body? Where is there energy? Where is there tightness, resistance, temperature, pressure, etc.? And what is the sense that is coming from that? As well as observing the other, like sensing, engaging our senses and working with observables or inarguables, such as I notice you're blinking faster. I notice you just smiled. I notice that you are breathing heavier, as well as judgments, which are arguables, right? It seems to me like you're feeling angry. I can imagine that you felt hurt by this, right? And then confirming what those arguables or judgments are. Is that right? Is that true? And then finally, expression. The practicing that congruence of the observation, the inspection, and expression allows us to build this healthy relationship with being with what we're feeling, owning it and taking a responsibility, and then expressing that in a healthy way. There are two types of circles that we'll be working with. One is called focus circles, otherwise known as birthday circles, and the second is called flow circles. So a focus circle is where all the attention is on one individual. And so the invitation here is that we're going to not just imagine that we're putting ourselves in their shoes, but really, what if we were standing behind them, putting ourselves, looking through their eyes and feeling what they're feeling, and approaching with great curiosity and imagination. Great curiosity and the assumption of innocence. So in this focus circle, you can certainly ask questions like, what's it like to express that? What's it like to be with this feeling, right? Out of a place of curiosity, as well as describe impact. Like, oh, the impact on me of what you just shared is that it reminds me of when I felt this too. And often following up with curiosity, like, is that resonating with you? Are you feeling the same thing, etc., right? Typically, focus circles can go anywhere between just a few minutes all the way up to a few hours. And so imagine it's almost like, sometimes it's described as having like 6 therapists all focused on you at the same time. It's a very powerful modality. The second form is called a flow circle, which is a group field where we're all circling each other. And there are really 3 things to pay attention to here. One is noticing inwards on what is here for myself. Second is noticing others, like what is here for this other person, and then noticing the group, like what is here for the group, right? So noticing inwards, I could say, I feel really triggered when I heard this. Noticing outwards could be something like, I can imagine that really hurt you and you didn't mean to say that. Is that right? And then noticing for the group is, I just want to name that the energy of this group feels really connected or feels really disconnected, right? The flow circle tends to be very improvised and embodies this concept of surrendered leadership, which is to say that even though there might be facilitators in the circle, that there is a sense of surrender to what is here. And when anybody has an agenda or a motive, such as, I really want this person to take responsibility, or I really want this person to see this opportunity, to name that agenda and own that as yours or ours, right? Like, oh, my agenda is to show you this thing, and to ask permission for that, because people don't want to be coached, not necessarily without consent. The role of the facilitator is to bring interactions to greater presence and surrender, right? So a facilitator might say, here's somebody who's going into contextual story and then maybe spending a few minutes on the past. A facilitator might jump in and say, I'm noticing that you are speaking about the past quite a bit. What's it like for you to experience this now, right? because everything that we're experiencing, even memories of the past, is happening now. Even projections of the future is happening now, right? And then finally, bringing interactions to more surrender, which is this concept of allowing for what is, right? One of the most powerful aspects of circling is silence, because the silence gives us the pause and the opportunity to really inspect and feel into what is here. And then finally, another role of the facilitator is to draw boundaries, primarily if someone is attempting to guide other people, right? And so a boundary might be like, hey, I'm noticing that you are, it seems to me that you're offering a coaching context. I'd like to invite you to just own your experience and to share what's happening for you. And in these two ways, the facilitator can really coalesce the group around this principle of circling better. I invite you, as you try circling, to really lean into what's here for you right now, and to practice that muscle of speaking, expressing your truth in a way that maybe can be foreign or unacceptable in regular society. Again, it's your opportunity to be with what is and to express that, which is going to be so valuable in the facilitated workshops and the psychedelic experience. Because fundamentally, again, the psychedelic experience is primarily about noticing and being with what is, especially the challenging parts.